welcome to Herald Show. I know you're wondering why you're seeing my face starting this program. It is because two masquerades have decided to dance. And tonight, we are bringing you a bigger masquerade who is even bigger than the two masquerades you are seeing this night. We have tonight live from the Redeemed Evangelical Mission in Barbuga, the presiding bishop of Trem worldwide. Please help me welcome Bishop Mike Okonkwo. Good evening, sir.
Thank you. It's my joy to be on the program.
Thank you. And we also have the executive producer of Herald Show himself, Mr. Peter Oina.
Bishop, I want to welcome you once again to Ireland. I know you have been here 3 times now. Is it the third time or the fourth time?
The third time.
I know the very first time I was fortunate to be there. I actually did the coverage and it was on Herald Show. We got a lot of feedback, positive feedback. I still get people calling me, most especially when we were doing the promotional advert that you were coming. All over the country, that's my bishop in Nigeria. How is he doing? Is he coming? I said, well, he's coming. So I don't know how many of them will be here today. But I just want to say welcome back to Ireland. We are so blessed to have you here once again. And I pray that whosoever is there this morning waiting for you, we go home with blessings flowing around them. Seeing you here.
Thank you. I appreciate your bringing me on.
Okay. Like my colleague has said, to start with, could you briefly tell us your experiences after having come to Ireland 3 times now?
Well, I must say that from every indication, so much has been done since the last time I was here. And I must give credit to the ministers that are here. There's no doubt Ireland is a virgin ground as far as the gospel is concerned. For some time now, it's been a sleeping nation in terms of the gospel. But thank God for the ministers of the gospel that God brought in here, who have started to break the grounds. And from the last time I came and what I'm seeing now, you can see that so much has been achieved. I wouldn't say we are where we would want to be, but obviously we are not where we used to be. So much has been done as far as the gospel is concerned, and I give that credit to the ministers in the land.
Talking of the propagation of the gospel in Ireland, you say it's a virgin land. We've had other big ministers coming here and another big minister here. What is the concerted effort ministers are making to make sure that Christianity here, our Christians here, do not go astray?
Well, the first thing is to break the spiritual atmosphere. You see, when there had been for a long time a stronghold holding a region, the visit of strong ministers, one of the key things it enables and we're able to achieve is to break the spiritual atmosphere and make the ground easier for the ground ministers, those who are on ground, to be able to penetrate. Because, you know, we are involved in a spiritual assignment, and there are forces who have hitherto for a long time held the region in bondage. And so it is a visit of apostolic ministries that will enable this stronghold to be broken. And then the pastors that are on ground can now have it easier than it used to be. So I would say that the visit of those ministers have really been very instrumental to the progress that we've seen since the last time I came.
Why I ask that question is because when big ministers come, we see the upsurge of people coming to that program. When those ministers now leave, you now see them withdrawing back. I mean, maybe you need to still instill that power into those ministers for them to still get the upsurge of.
That is the whole essence. The whole essence is for us to impact the lives of the pastors that are on ground, to know that If we can do it, they can do it. And that's why we take time within the period of visitation to do what we call School of Ministry or leadership training, for them to understand the dynamics of ministry, which if they put to work, they will be able to achieve the same result.
Bishop, talking about School of Ministry or the leadership training, there's something that bothers me, and I think about it every day. It's a trend now to see pastors beginning with with a particular church, and after 6 months or 1 year, we hear that God has called him to open his own church. It's happening everywhere, and then there's crisis. The members are, separating, dividing, going. What do you think is responsible for that? Even when these pastors go through this leadership training and ministry to know that continuity and obedience is very important in how you impact.
Well, let me say first of all that it is not a rule that a minister will stay for life in the ministry. And while I want to underscore that God could genuinely call somebody out to do something new. Now, having said that, there is no doubt there are many who are out there who claim that God had told them to go out and start a work, which have no business doing that. They only end up creating confusion and misunderstanding and sources of discord among brethren. It shouldn't be, because I always say to people, God cannot be calling you to a new work by destroying the one that is here, if we are all involved in the same kingdom. So oftentimes, most of this God said is not God saying. And like just like in every other profession, we will always have charlatans, people who will not do the right thing. They are not ready to follow directives and instructions that are given. Because there are biblical ways of living a work. If it is God, it will be decent. It will be peaceful. It will be a blessing. The individual will leave from the front door and can always come back to the house, knowing fully well this is the house that launched me out. As a matter of fact, that mother church should launch the person out and be there when the new church work is starting. That's how it should be. But oftentimes, I think what causes it is a quest for power, quest for money, and all that. That's one of the reasons why those things happen. And the truth is that in the final analysis, somewhere along the line, it catches up with them. Because whatsoever you sow, you will reap. So it doesn't fail. I've seen it repeatedly over the years. When people do things like that, initially you will think that, oh, this guy is making it. And people could rush there. And then suddenly, after a period of time, the trouble begins because you have laid the wrong foundation. So it's not a good thing to do at all. Anyone who will leave a ministry must do it decently according to the scriptures.
Trem, in Ireland, we have 2 parishes going strong. Do you think that the reason why Trem in Ireland is doing strong is because of those 2 parishes? Do you think that if you now have proliferation of those parishes, there will be crisis?
Crisis? I don't think so. The important thing is to have quality ministers who believe in the vision. If you have strong ministers in like we have in Barbergan and in Galway, who believe in the ministry, I mean, what's the reason for me? What reason would somebody have to break a church? For example, I'm in Nigeria. I'm not living here. I'm not going to come here to live. Are you following? My only interest is to see the church here grow. If I grow in leaps and bounds, that will make me relocate to Ireland, for long as we follow the vision. So there is really no reason, like I told you, it's lack of understanding. A vision is progressive. I understand that there is no way I can individually accomplish the vision that God gave to me. I need people who will enable me, who will carry the vision even further than I have done. Ministry is like a relay race where you run your own bit and hand over to others who will follow through. And my part is to ensure that I successfully hand over the baton to whoever is following me.
Okay. All right, Bishop. I know that there's Trem in Ireland. Is there Trem in the UK?
Yes, we have Trem in UK. We have in Upper Clapton, and that's in the east. We have in Fulham, and then we also have in Leeds, and then we have in Dagenham, and then we're opening in Manchester. So it just.
Can you just tell us Trem worldwide? What is the strength? Yes.
We're talking about close to 200 plus churches around the world.
That's a big one.
By the grace of God, God has been faithful to us.
What is the position of Trem in Nigeria now? We know that Bishop Okonkwo was once the president of
the Pentecostal Fellowship,
and you took it strong, you handed over the baton. Now you are no more. But Trem, what is the position of Trem in Nigeria?
And we are doing a bit. I would say that you cannot speak about the Pentecostal churches in Nigeria or even church in Nigeria without mentioning Trem. That's one thing that God has enabled us to achieve. We've got a brand for ourselves. It's a ministry that it's very solid in the Word of God, and we are sticklers for the Word. And people know that 3 strong areas of the ministry: the Word of God, music, and prayers. We are very strong in those areas, and I would say that God has been really faithful. Just recently, like in Lagos, we've completed our ultra-modern cathedral in a very strategic place in Lagos, and that alone has given us an extra mileage, because the interesting thing about the facility is that no one ever believed that a building can come out of that very location, given the terrain and all the stuff. But here we are, God enabled us to raise up a building that is now sort of the talk of the town. Everyone around it, all you need to say is that you get into Lagos and go into Trem. They will take you there. And one of the things we try to encourage our pastors to do is to not just go into a location, buy a property so that you can be well established. If you're still renting a place, you are at the mercy of the landlord, who could throw you out at any time. So most of our churches are in their facilities. So we are grateful to God. And there are other social activities we're involving in Nigeria. For instance, every year I have lecture where we address national issues, social issues, and it's been going on now close to the 10 years to 12. And then every year we have football matches, and then we have schools, ongoing school for area boys and indigent people who are indigent in the society. 3 schools within the city of Lagos, for instance, where we train people free of charge, give them vocational training, and then empower them when they finish. And there are people we also giving scholarships to. And then, of course, in my wife's ministry, the International Women Prayer Conference, which has gone on now for over 10 years in different parts of this city. She holds these conferences in Abuja, in Port Harcourt, in Asaba, in Enugu, and of course in Lagos, every month in Lagos, last Thursday of every month, that draws people from different churches, and that has touched a lot of people, and with great testimonies across the place. So that all these things help to give us mileage. And of course, he also conducts cervical cancer screening for people in remote places, close to 500, 700 people, which he does free of charge to them. So we do all these things, and of course, it enables people to understand that we're not just preaching the gospel, but impacting people's lives socially.
Yeah, that is very important when you see an institution who looks into the empowerment of the people is very important, because talking about, like you just talked about cervical cancer. It's very important because cancer is killing a lot of people.
Killing a lot of people, unfortunately, at this time.
Yeah, most of our people are not the West. People still believe that cancer is not for me, it's for the other person, which is not true.
It's not true.
Cancer is for everybody.
What you should do is you make sure you undergo checkup, because people die for things they could have avoided. That's what I've discovered. What they could have avoided, they die on that account because they did not check it out. So that's one of the reasons why I believe that that program is very important.
It's very important. Well, Bishop, this brings me to the state of the nation. How would you assess the present situation in Nigeria?
Well, I would say that since after the election, not much has been done, because it's just about a month or so ago that the president was able to settle in his ministers. Without ministers, there is really nothing that could be done. And having said that, I must say that minus the prayers of the saints, the situation is very, very critical in the country, because of, more especially in the area of security. There is so much insecurity in the country. We have the challenge of kidnappers that, and now it's no more in Niger Delta. It has moved to any part of the country. They kidnap you in Lagos, which was not like that, it wasn't there before. So anywhere, anyone could be kidnapped, and this thing is going on. Not so much results have been gotten in that area, and then added to it is the issue of terrorism, which is another dimension. We have bombs. I mean, there are bomb blasts all over the place, and people are boasting about it. And I don't see anyone who has truly been prosecuted and put behind bars concerning it. So it's a great challenge to us, and but we're still watching the thing closely while we are speaking up and calling on the government that they have a responsibility to provide an enabling environment for the citizens to function. Without security and the necessary infrastructure, we are going nowhere. So it's a very challenging situation, but the church has to keep praying to God so that it doesn't come to a very crucial stage where we cannot move on the streets, because it's gradually tilting towards that, to the point where you can't move on the street, and that's not good for the nation. It will also affect our economy. No one wants to invest in any economy that there is no security.
And what do you think is responsible for that? Is it?
I think there is agitation from all quarters. Okay. The government must, as of necessity, provide a platform for sovereign national conference, where all the parties will sit down and discuss their issue. Because if you don't do that, and people are bottling a lot of things in their heart, then they will let it out somehow. That's what's happening. People have so much in their heart which they're begging for answers. And until that is done, it's going to be very difficult to manage. So I think a lot of pressure is being put on the president to allow that to happen. Let people discuss their affairs, and then we'll be able to know whether we're good. I mean, look at the bombing of the United Nations headquarters in Lagos, I mean in Abuja. That's not funny at all. If they could penetrate the United Nations, then who is free? Any person, any institution could be penetrated. And so it requires, I think people are unhappy. And the political class have taken the masses for granted for too long. We read of millions and millions of and even to billions of naira that people are stealing. And then no one is being arrested. None of them is being indicted, put behind bars. We read of it, you tell us of them, and then we are waiting to hear that, okay, this person, you've taken this money back from them and put them in jail. We never hear that. And so people are wondering, there is so much suffering, the roads are bad. The fuel situation is not even better. You see that electricity has gone down to South Africa, that is less than Nigeria, is having close to how many, about 40,000 megawatts, and Nigeria, that is 150, 160, we are having less than 40 megawatts. 4,000 megawatts. That's not good. So, and what is happening is that there is so much unemployment. Why? Because people cannot use their initiative. Everyone is now looking. Most of the companies are shut down, and when you shut them down, that means many will be unemployed. And a man that is not unemployed, you're thinking in terms of 3-5 people behind him that is taken care of. So a lot of our companies are going to Ghana. So all these people are unhappy, and so they must let it out somehow.
With due respect, sir, you have mentioned things that are really putting Nigeria and Nigerians down. But we still lay the blame at the doorsteps of big people like you, of fathers of the nation, who are where politicians will run to when they get into trouble. Father, please pray for me. And you still lay hands on them and pray for them. It is as if you intercede for them not to get imprisoned. But when you now come out to condemn all these things, and in the bedroom you pray for them, and nothing happens to them, we must lay those problems at your doorstep.
No, you will not look at it that way. We have a responsibility. Do you know that if we have not been praying, it could have developed into anarchy? It would have become, it is just because we are praying. That's why it has not degenerated to anarchy in the country. And number two, the Bible enjoins us to pray for those in authority. Number three, the fact that you cancel somebody who comes, as a church, we don't have the right to send anyone, no matter how bad he is, who comes to God, away. So what do? You cancel him to do what is right. And the fact that you cancel somebody to do what is right, and he leaves you to do what he wants, you can't put that blame on me. So what I expect is for the law to have its course. You see what I mean? If the person is stealing, we have the law there to arrest him. I don't care whether you are an elder in the church or not. If you steal money, you should go to jail. That's my attitude to it. Even if you are coming to my church, I tell them, I'm not going to influence anything that has to do with you breaking the law, because if you're a Christian, you should better do what is right. You should show the light, other than trying to find a way to cut corners. And so I expect the law to take its course. The reason this thing is continuing is because the law has not taken its course. Most of the institutions that are set up, for me, are just window dressing. EFCC, window dressing. The day they want to witch hunt somebody, they go and pick the person. People are committing atrocities every day who are in the government, and no one is doing anything. And we've been telling the government, take action. For me, I think one of the things that will stop this trend in Nigeria is, one, as soon as somebody is caught stealing money, number one, take the money from him, and two, jail him. What
if the money has been put into the church coffers?
How can he put? There is no way somebody will steal $1 billion or $2 billion or 100 or 500 million and bring it to church. It's not possible.
Bishop, you know the reason why I'm asking this question.
I know. Ask.
Because you see, we have evidence.
That what? That
They will not. It might not even be Trem, but they would. Now, let's say I've stolen 1 billion naira, and I want to be important. I know Bishop Okonkwo can intercede for me.
So that you will not
Bishop, just hold on. That Bishop Okonkwo can intercede for me.
Yeah.
Then I will be the largest donor in the church.
Yeah.
The church wants a building foundation. I've invested in it.
Yes.
I've done all that. What I believe should be the responsibility of the church is to ask, how much is your salary?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
The church do not ask. They just collect the money.
No. That's the issue.
We have so many. I don't want to.
Let me give you. Let me answer you. For instance, for me, if Bible tells me to know the state of your sheep. Now, if somebody I know very well is a member in my church and I know what you are supposed to be earning, and then suddenly you come up with 100 million, I will ask you, how did you get the 100 million? Where did you get it from? You must tell me. What did you do? I must check through this. How legitimate is this money? If you have stolen it, for me, I will not take it. Unless I didn't know where you dumped it. But once I find it out from the coffers, I will not take, I won't touch it because it's stolen money. And you should return it. We teach these things. As far as our ministry is concerned, we teach it. Listen, we in our church, we're passionate about Nigeria. Every Sunday in the headquarters church, we sing the national anthem. What is and we recite the pledge. What is the reason? I want to inculcate the national orientation in the minds of our people so that they will know that you don't have another country. We have this country as a gift from God, and we have the responsibility to ensure that things are right in the nation. So if there are churches who are doing that, it's wrong. Any church that encourages stealing money from the coffers of the nation when people are suffering, I mean, in spite of this banding of billions all over the place, what we experience in the street betrays the fact that we are rich. There is nothing that makes Nigeria rich. There is nothing that makes us the giant of Africa. Look at our streets. Children who should be in school are running in between cars selling handkerchiefs. Is that what? So I ask myself, why can these people who claim to be politicians not see these things happening? Like I told you, that's the reason for anarchy. That's the reason people are unhappy. People know that nothing is being done, and it's unfortunate.